Hi, this is the Teaserking coming to you. Just want to update some trends and some statistics of the pro teams right now. Apologize, I tried running this earlier and I thought I did 15 minutes, came up with 4 minutes, so I'm not quite sure what happened, but we'll try it again. Apologize. What I like to do is just my trend analysis. What teams are hot now, what teams are not in the pros. So I'm going to run down the analysis of, in a teaser right now, who's the hot teams. Chicago, this is for 2010 and the first few weeks of 2011. The Bears are 16-4. Detroit 16-2, red hot. Green Bay's 20-2, 91%, they're the hottest. Tampa Bay's 14-4. Atlanta's 15-4. Baltimore 17-3. Pitt 17-4. Cleveland's 13-4. New England's 15-4. The Jets are 18-3, and Oakland's 15-3. And what I get out of that is I usually see the new teams coming up. And really the line hasn't adjusted for these teams like Detroit and Oakland. They're still, they haven't really figured out, because they're not playoff teams, that the spreads should be adjusted properly. They're not popular teams because they're not playoff teams, and basically the spread's based on the popularity to get the money being even. So therefore, the certain teams aren't the spread's not caught up yet, so there's big bargains there, especially Detroit and Oakland. The bet against teams, I got Minnesota at 16-2, San Francisco 14-4, Carolina 16-2, Dallas 14-4, Arizona 15-3, Cincy 14-4, Cleveland 15-3, Jacksonville at 14-4, Buffalo 14-4, Indy 16-3, and Denver 15-3. Now, what you look at here, Minnesota's going down. They used to be a very good team to bet on. Now they're going against. That's what my trends do. Is it spots things that are happening now. Yeah, Brett Favre, when he was there, you'd bet him every week. Now he's gone. But he just left. I mean, last year he got hurt, and this year McNabb's there. So it's basically very quickly catching on that they're a bet against team as opposed to a bet team. And probably the last, they're 16-2, but very quickly they become a bet against, and they were always a bet. And if you don't have these trends, you're still thinking, well, Minnesota's good, Minnesota I'm going to take, and then you lose with them, and you don't understand why, when really the play is to bet against them. They're 8-1 as a road dog, and they're 8-1 as a play against road dog all of a sudden. They used to win every game at home. Now they're 5-1 against as a home favorite, 2-0 against as a home dog. So all of a sudden, if you go against them at home, you're 7-1, and on the road you're 9-1. I mean, that's amazing. That's what these trends do, is they pick it up really quick, where people fall in love with the 49ers or the Steelers, and you don't know when to play them and when not to, and you play them when you shouldn't. And that's why I've created these, because that's what I used to do when I was younger. You'd get caught on the on the Steelers of the 70s or the 49ers of the 80s, and you'd keep betting them, and then sometimes you shouldn't have bet them, but you don't realize it. A lot of times it's injuries, or the key players leave, but you just got to be aware of that. You got to be aware of, there's good teams, there's medium teams, and there's bad teams, and you try to figure out who is who. And you can't get caught up in the name. Right now, Detroit's really Minnesota, who Minnesota used to be. Minnesota's who Detroit used to be. And it's just switches. It's just Team A, Team B, Team C. You can't really pick a favorite and stick with them. If you do, you can't bet. Carolina, they're 16-2 against. They've been playing well. They've been competitive. That shows you what the lack of a quarterback does. If you're a bad team, you don't have a quarterback, you're going to lose. You're not going to cover. That's the biggest thing I found. The playoff teams, the good teams, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Green Bay, they win, they cover. The bad teams used to be the Lions, Carolina, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Cincinnati. They're bad teams. They lose. You bet against them. So it's just who's the good team, who's the bad team. Now you'll see it in the draft. They'll pick up better players. So we'll see what Cam Newton does with Carolina. We're not sure. Anyway, you can see Denver going downhill, Cincinnati, Cleveland, all these teams going down. I'm going to get into each team in their role where there is one. These are just like 85-90% trends. When do I play the team? This goes back from 2009, 2010, the first 3 weeks of 2011. Here, Minnesota is 13-2 as a home favorite and 11-1 as a road dog. And we just talked about how they've switched to now at home you can go against them. So what it says is, as a home favorite, you can take Mini and you can go against them. Play the teaser, you'll probably win. You bet against Mini as a road dog is 10-2 now. So when they go on the road, they play a close game. Chicago's 9-1 as a home dog. We had them against the Bears, or I should say I had them. It's really just me, but I sometimes like to say we. Excuse me. Then you have Detroit getting better, 13-4 as a road dog. Green Bay 13-3 as a home favorite, 11-3 as a road favorite, 8-0 as a road dog, or 19-3 on the road. Amazing. Tampa Bay 15-2 as a road dog. Frisco's 8-2 as a road dog. New Orleans 5-0 as a road dog. Atlanta 13-2 as a home favorite. Washington's 11-2 as a road dog. And Dallas is 7-2 as a road dog. Baltimore 14-2 as a home favorite. Cincy's 7-0 as a home dog. They're a home dog this week against Buffalo. I thought that Cincinnati would be favored, and I'm just surprised. Now here's the interesting trend on Cincinnati. If they're the home favorite, you go against them, you're 10-0 against. Meaning Cincinnati's favored, you take the other team. That's why we lock San Francisco Sunday, because Cincinnati is a terrible favorite. But the ironic part is, when they're the home dog, you bet on them, they're 7-0. So when the game's in Cincy, you take the underdog, period. What else? Tennessee's 10-3 as a road dog. Pitt's 14-4 as a home favorite. Cleveland 13-3 as a road dog. Miami 11-3 as a road dog. New England and Indy are 15-4 as a home favorite. You're not going to see Indy as a home favorite this year, but really won't affect that trend. Houston's 8-2 as a road dog, 4-0 as a home dog. So if Houston's a dog, you can take them. The Jets are 8-0. Well, 8-1 is a road favorite. Now they lost. They didn't cover against the Oakland. And 11-3 is a road dog. San Diego's a huge road dog. They're 17-2 as a road dog since 2006. But since 2009, they're only 5-1. But I make that comment because they're a great road dog, San Diego. That's about it. On the play against side, play against Tampa as a home dog is 9-1. Play against the 49ers 8-2 as a road dog. So if you play them, you're 8-2. If you play against them, you're 8-2. Either way, you want to play the dog in the Frisco game, and it looks like they're really close games to have both sides like that. Carolina, bet against them as a home favorite, 8-0. 7-2 as a home dog. Bet against Carolina at home, 15-2. Bet against Washington as a home favorite is 5-0. Bet against Dallas as a road favorite, 8-2. Bet against Arizona as a home favorite, 10-1. As a road favorite, 4-0. Whenever Arizona's favored, bet against them, 14-1. Now here's where I start loving it. Bet against Cincy as a home favorite. I already talked about, 10-0. Bet against Cleveland as a home dog, 10-2. Home favorite, 4-1. 14-3. Bet against Cleveland at home. Bet against Jacksonville is a home favorite, 11-0. Bet against Miami is a home favorite, 7-1. Home dog, 9-1. Bet against Miami at home, 16-2. There's no such thing as a home field advantage in some of these teams. Bet against Buffalo is a home dog, 7-2. One of the reasons we locked New England, they were a terrible home dog, and New England owned them in the head-up series. Bet against Indy is a road favorite, 10-3. Bet against Denver is a home favorite, 6-2. Bet against San Diego is a road favorite, 9-2. Bet against Seattle is a road dog, 15-2. So basically, you want to fit the personality with the team. I don't just look at these trends. I also look at the head-to-head trends if they're division games. Detroit, Minnesota, New England, Buffalo. Both those teams, the Detroit mini game was a terrible trend war for me. The trend was, and the macro trend was to take Detroit. They were 16-2 in a teaser. Minnesota was 16-2 against as a teaser. Automatically, I was play Detroit. When I looked heads up, since 2000, Detroit, Minnesota, the dog in the series is 20-2, and Mini was 10-1 at home. Now the whole key is the matchup. If I know when the two teams play, who usually wins, that indicates what's going to happen. So if I know Minnesota at home always wins, always covers, and the dog always covers, it means how do I go against Mini at a 20-2 trend? So it was very confusing. I didn't know which side to do. Normally in that case I'll take the underdog. I didn't play the game because I didn't want to go against Detroit, and I just watched because Detroit's they haven't been a road favorite too often. So what I wanted to do was just watch and see how Detroit is as a road favorite. So what I got out of it was the dog's 22, you follow the dog. That's why we took the Giants over Philly. The dog in that series was, 11-1, 12-2, or something like that. It was some huge trend on the dog. So you take the Giants. So basically, when you look at the head-to-head, and they're only division teams, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota, and Green Bay is all I'm going to look at in there. If Detroit plays Pittsburgh, I don't have a head-to-head trend. I'll look and see how they play Baltimore, how they might play another Chicago team. I'll try to look at, like, Buffalo played New England. Well, if Buffalo plays San Diego, I'll assume they're going to play in the same way because they got a good passer. And you look at that way when they play, if a team plays Green Bay well, they'll play New Orleans well, they'll play San Diego well because of the quarterback. So you tend to watch that. The head-to-head with New England and Buffalo, the reason I locked that game, New England was like, it was like 17-1 or 15-1 when they're favored. They had won the last 8 or 9 in Buffalo, and Buffalo was a weak home dog. New England was a strong road favorite. Brady was healthy. There's no injuries. They needed the win. It was just shocking that he threw 4 interceptions, but otherwise, I'd make the bet every time. That's what I'm looking for. It's a 95% trend. What am I, if I don't bet that, I shouldn't be betting. So that was the reason I took New England as a lock. It was also the reason I took Frisco as a lock. It was a bet against Cincinnati. They're 10-0 as a home favorite if you bet against them. So it was obvious. And the way I characterize it is I'm betting against a weak favorite with a good dog. And that's what I look for, is bet against weak favorites, take strong favorites against weak dogs, and take strong dogs in a head-out game. Sort of like Chicago, Green Bay, we took a strong dog in Chicago, and the trend was taking Chicago. In Green Bay, Chicago, you take the Bears in Green Bay, and I think you take Chicago in Chicago. I'm not sure, I got to look at my sheet. But that's what I try to do. Anyway, please email me, go on the site, www.teaserking.com. Ask me questions or comments about any games. I'm happy to help you. Have a nice night.